Well, hello, folks. Top Gun here, and I got a good one for you. A quick one. This goes out to the math flood I've seen, basically, because the math is super, super wrong. Like, in order to do it that wrong, you got to be doing it wrong on purpose, in my opinion. The guy didn't show his work on his little model there, so I will build it and show it nice and quick and explain the math so you guys can do it at home yourselves. Okay? So, yeah, I'm Top Gun and I got a good one for you. Simple math to handle some of the FUD. What are the potential X's this ecosystem can do? Well, no one. How do I put this? Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. Okay. Nobody. The future's not ours to see. Just patience, guys. But to say that the potential is limited, the way that they did, I always say my math is wrong because I'm not looking at whether liquidity providers are going to add or take away. I'm only looking if people are going to buy or sell into the LP. So we're going to look at that math, and I'm even going to show you how to adjust the LP, show you some things that, happened. So let's get right into it, right? What do you guys think? Yeah? Let's dive into it. Let's get into the math. All right. So here we got a math sheet nice and handy. And yeah, just some quick, we have a wonderful ecosystem. Yeah, yield not so great, but marketplace, pretty awesome. Yield not bad. However, putting out the core token that earns you that yield in huge amounts, that kind of sucks. But, maybe I shouldn't show all these off because now I'm actually showing holdings and stuff. But anyway, yeah, I hold that. This is pretty cool. I love looking at their stats page. I own that. I own that. I own some of that. I own some of that. They don't have a token. Yes, I even own one of these. This thing is cool. It really is cool. Yeah, I own some of that. I own some of that. Yeah. So we're going to look over here to do our math. Because this website, thank you, GoPulse, you put such nice, clean information here available. We can include the OA, exclude the OA, show in USD. So what we care about right now is the liquidity, which has increased a little bit. If we click on that, it's not like the mobile app. It's not giving me an exact, precise number here. Showing USD. Well, that is an exact, precise number. Okay. Well, we will take that number and we'll come over here and we'll do math with it. So for our lesson, we're going to go ahead and do the math. So X, let's make this really large, yeah. X times Y. Got to use brackets here, or Excel or Google Sheets will freak out at the equal sign, equals K. So what does that even mean? So basically, we take a value and we multiply it by an asset and we get a constant. Okay? It's really not that complicated. Now, again, what does that mean? Well, we could say such as stable coins. And we could even say multiplying tokens, because that's what we're all interested in here. Tokens. And that's still a constant. Nothing's changed about that. So, simple math about how it works. Let's do this in ways you guys can understand. So 1,000 times 1,000. Okay? Nice simple numbers here. Equals. All right. Bring that down here. There. So in here we can actually put the equal sign, hit this cell, and go ahead and use the multiplication symbol and hit that cell. So that's a star, that's shift for the number 8. That gets you that multiplication. You just hit enter. And look at that. Now these numbers start to get kind of big, so we can use the numeric thing on this and make sure it has commas. There. Now we can easily see that's 1 million. So what this means is no matter if I'm buying and selling, trading into the LP, this has to stay the same. If I'm a liquidity provider, I can change that number, the K number. But that's the only person that can change that K number. Okay, so how does this work then? Well, move the K number down. So, and one more part to this equation. All right, so if you take the value that's in the pool, all right, well, so X divided by Y, just copy this thing, Control C, Control V, okay, what does that equal? Price, or P. So, again, to make that simple, take the dollars, okay, and you're dividing them by the number of tokens in the pool to get the price. All right, so we're all clear on that. So since we've got these and we want to figure out price, that means it equals this number divided by that number. That's pretty simple. And obviously dollars. Look at that. And this is the dollar value. So we'll assume the stable coins are nice and easy. Okay. So whatever asset we're looking at is a $1 asset. Now we want to change this. Okay. So, oh yeah, this needs to equal this number. That's right. There we go. All right. So what are we going to do here? We're going to either add or take away money by selling tokens in or adding money. So in this example, I think $1 is a great price for this. So I'm going to drop in another $1,000. Okay? But now this, what's that going to equal? That's what we're looking for. So if I'm going to add another $1,000, then really, what's my total that's now going to be in the liquidity pool? Oops. Stop messing around here. There. There we go. This I should actually delete. There. You guys can see me building this. So if we add $1,000 because we thought that was a great price, and this number has to stay the same, we now can say that this divided by our new number gets us number of tokens. This shouldn't have the $ sign on it. Can we get rid of that? No. There we go. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. You guys want to see that work over here? So take the value, divide it by the number of assets that are currently in the pool, and there's your price per token. $4. Guys following how this works? So you see, I doubled one side, and I got 4 times the price. Following that, guys? It was pretty interesting how he was doing his math, because he wasn't doing that factor. So I doubled this size, so he was doubling the price. So when that video basically took a 40 million pool and added 440 million or 400 million to it, the new number was 440. Not 444, 440 roughly. Okay, so 40 million in liquidity, add 400 more, 440, and then what he did was take 440 and divide it by this, and okay, that's a factor of 11. Now, yes, that means the bid side, the dollar side, would be increased by 11. So he did that to the price, 11 times the price. But the other side ends up divided by 11. So you have to multiply 11 by 11 to get the change, to make sure the K number stays the same. And, oh, I might be typing all this below where you guys can actually see. Yeah, you get a factor of 11. I move this up a little further. So he was only taking one side of that and not the other. Because again, when we double one side, we have to divide the other side by 2. So if we 11x one side, we divide the other by 11. And 2 times 2 is 4. Now if you guys want to see that work out even more, what if I thought $1 per token was great and I had 3,000 I could put in here? That's a 4x, right? Okay. Oh, but that's $16. That's a 16x. Because now we divided this side by 4. Multiply by 4, divide by 4. 4 times 4, 16. So that FUD video, whatever number of x's he showed you, you just need to square it. So if he showed you 8, 8 times 8 is 64. I'm too lazy to type all it in when I can do it faster in my brain, but that's how much he was undercutting all of this math. Now that we've done with simple math lessons, let's go ahead and build that liquidity pool we're looking at, or one of the ones that was in the example. So what do we got here? 68,344,703. What a lovely number. All right. So 68,344,703. Okay. So now we have a dollar value. Perfect. Let's take that and put it in a dollar value column. All right. So, number of tokens. This is going to be, unfortunately, a rough number, but we'll deal with that. Oh, of course that just changed. Oh, price just changed, so value just changed. Let's use the most current one we can. Make sure this is accurate. So 968,411. 6799841. Is that what I said? $968,411. All right. There we go. Now before somebody goes and makes a major sale or something, showing coins, 1.34 trillion. That's the best it's going to do. Wow, that's way too rounded for what I like, but whatever. We'll make it work. 1,340,000,000,000,000,000,000. And let's get some commas on that. Okay, so now that we've got those, let's use the K number field, and we'll say it equals our money value times our tokens. What a lovely, huge scientific number. Okay, which we will say that the next field equals that scientific number. Wonderful. Now we'll come over here and we'll do price. So, again, take the value there, divide it by the number of tokens. That's roughly about the price it showed. Cool. All right, we're not doing too bad. So now, you guys want to see what we do here. Auto sum. Okay, each number plus each number. Wonderful. And then, okay, this will equal this number divided by this number. Wonderful. Want some commas back on there. Wonderful. And then this should still equal this divided by this. Okay. This is now our magic box where we determine how much we're going to add. So let's go ahead and for now, just double that number. Whew, look at that. Look at that shift right there. Now, if you guys need to verify what the shift rate or change was, let's go ahead and say equals this divided by the previous price 4. We'll even change that to a percent, 400% change in price. Wonderful. Now we figured out, okay, we double the amount of money. So it takes $67 million in one single buy to do that to the price before anyone else could sell into it, before any liquidity providers could do anything about it. There's our clause, our special clause locking those variables. In this case, if the buy were done instantly. Now, what if this equaled this number times 2? Okay. What does that do to the price? 900% increase. Okay. Times 3. Oh, look at that. 16,000% increase if a $200 million buy happened to PulseX all at once. Now, this guy would be eating some nasty slippage. Some really nasty slippage. And if you want to know how much slippage, you make this one equal, well, it was this, and minus whatever's left in there, that's what he got. And you want to know what price he paid? Well, you take that number, and you divide it by that number. Your tokens still fall in the math. There we go. So he paid a 4x. This is the buy field right here. Before the buy, after the buy. So yeah, that's a lot of slippage. He paid 4 times what the sale price was worth, but immediately caused it to be worth 16 times what it was. Okay, we starting to see here. Is this fun for you guys? So what if we put in 400 million? Look at that. That one, you make it 7. So if somebody dropped a cool $500 million all at once, guys, that's a 64x. Now, I don't think anybody is going to drop a cool billion unless we can get Bill Gates really drunk. I don't think Saylor's that rich. Richard spends his money smarter than that. Hey, Elon, what are you up to? But anyway, I mean, you bought Twitter. This is better than Deutsche, man. This is ground floor of awesome L1. Well, I'm talking about the DEX right now, but whole different matter. So still, obviously, the market can sell into that, and the liquidity provider can change all of that. But all you have to do in order to track, what's going on is recalculate the K number. If the liquidity pool has changed, if the K number changes, you can see then that liquidity providers have changed it. And so also to point out for you guys, there was almost double the amount of tokens available. Like the LP size was double before January. Like I forget if it was October or January, but the LP providers smelled the bottom, and they pulled a lot of liquidity. I watched it happen, and suddenly we were down to about 1.1 trillion or 1 trillion. And then as price went up, they started posting it back in. So even though you should be seeing it drop to 0.9 trillion, like 900 billion, 800 billion, still holding a trillion as price is going up because they're adding more liquidity into it. Kind of eating that top a little bit, thicken it back up. So yeah, they come and go, and there's no way to predict exactly when their sentiment's going to change, when they're coming in and out. So it's a variable that's not something I can look at in my math model that I can project into the future. But if you're watching liquidity pools, yeah, the LP providers, if they think that a pump is coming, or even if they're eating a lot of impermanent loss into a pump, will pull the liquidity. And in which case, this number gets higher because it gets easier. Because all of a sudden, this number gets lower. Like all of a sudden, say, a third of it or a quarter of it gets taken. Boom. Now, I really messed with things. But, yeah, here's our new K number 7 to the power 19 instead of 9. And, wow, that's a lot. It's funny how I changed that. Oh, I changed the token amount here, and I forgot, to change the dollar amount correspondingly. They can't just take one side. Ha ha ha. So, I got to do some separate math for this, guys. All right, some more math lessons. If you want to follow me around the board, what it would look like. Okay, so if we wanted to remove 300 billion, okay, that's the amount we want to remove. So now we need a new field to be that minus that. All right. Now we've had a rate of change. So what was that rate of change? That change was, this number divided by this number is what this should be corresponding to. So watch the math. The money, okay, should be multiplied by, we'll do it in brackets so there's no mistake because bed mass matters. This has to be done first. So this number now divided by this number, close the funny bracket, and that's some bed mass, and boom. And dollars, 52 million. There we go. And we need a new K value for that. So that times that. Oh, did we actually... Oh, get out of the... Dang. There we go. I'm surprised that didn't go scientific. We'll just change the notation to scientific. There it is. Back to scientific, guys. This ended up a little longer than I planned. My math lessons always do. There. Okay. So you can see, wow, the K number almost cut in half because power of squares, when all we did was decrease by 30%, but both sides. And wow, K number affected, but that's just a constant for keeping track of the formulas and double checking your math to make sure it doesn't shift while you're doing things. So now, if we added that number to this number instead, we'd see a more dramatic shift. So let's go ahead and do it. So equals this number plus this number. Wunderbar. See, less than that number. Now, that would equal this number. Oh yeah, doing this all wrong. That would equal our scientific here divided by money. There we go. We don't want money on that. We want a plain number. Okay. We want to know what that price is. Take that divided by per tokens. Wunderbar. Wow. Is that 1 cent? That looks like 1 cent for a price. What was the price here? We need more decimals to see. Okay. Wow. So, again, if we want to see the factor change, 1 cent divided by our original price, which should still be the same, but I'll put it here to prove that it is. So let's do the price again divided by the number of tokens, and let's show, yeah, that looks more like current price. Okay, so now we can see, and let's put that in percent so it matches. Oh, look at that. So liquidity providers, if they decided to pull 300 billion PulseX suddenly, along with the corresponding, because you have to pull both sides, value that's paired in it, there's your change in the LP, there's your change in the K number, and now that same amount of money, that $500 million almost, gives us not a 64x, no, that gives us a 100x. Wow. Even more than, like, well, maybe I have to expand this. It's probably rounding up. Nah, ha, ha, ha. It was rounding up. Cheeky. Not all the way to 1 cent. No wonder. But pretty close. So from today's price, wow. That's the math. That's the math, guys. So, yeah. And if we dropped $1 billion, because they were marking, oh, you need $1 billion. Well, if the liquidity providers didn't pull their liquidity, that's a 256x. But if they did pull their liquidity, just roughly 35% of it, or whatever. Here, let's figure out exactly what that is that I'm menacing here. So, yeah, divided by that equals, is that only 22%? Is that how that works out? Wow. There we go. So if they pulled 22% of their liquidity all of a sudden during a pump, 1 billion by itself, 256. With them pulling liquidity, wow, 400x. Okay, let's see, what if they pulled a little more liquidity? What if we change that to a 4 instead of a 3? Well, now we're at 30% of the liquidity. Yeah, that makes more sense. Now we're at 30% of the liquidity pulled, and we go from a 256x to a 500x. Wow. That much more effective the billion becomes. So liquidity providers will pull during pumps because they don't want to take a permanent loss, but they will put in back after to catch fees when they think the price is stabilizing. So, you know, this is some accurate math about how price can pump. Oh, and I'm looking at PulseX, and we're finally talking about market buys. And I didn't include my buy and burn math. Because he's a buyer in the system that's not included in this hypothetical. Yeah, go Michael Saylor bot. So anyways, I hope, Richard, this helps back up. This one's for you. Don't like the FUD. Don't like bad math. This is the math. This is accurately going through what it looks like so you can make an Excel sheet. You can follow every step I did here. You can play it and replay in slow, and you can build this math, and you can pick your favorite LP and look at the token side and the bid side. Now, this wasn't one LP. This is across, I think, all the PulseX tokens that are available. So this is multiple LPs from my understanding. I wasn't even looking at one LP because arbitrage will show up, but you can aggregate. If they're all using V2 style LPs, not V3, just it's that V3, that 9mm or Uniswap V3, as long as it's X times Y equals K. Well, I've got my pulse in DAI, I've got my pulse in USDC, I've got my pulse in this, I've got my pulse in that. Well, you can go ahead and add up all of the pulse from all the different LPs, figure out its price, and then figure out what's in value beside it. And then you don't have to worry about arbitrage because you're basically building in the arbitrage because you're doing it to all LPs. Or if you had a buy program that could execute multiple LPs at once, like an aggregate bot, I don't know, like PETA's does, or Internet Money Wallet does, hey, yeah. So there's options, guys. There's options. So this is the math. There you go. Nice fast one. And this, I'm not even meaning to math because who knows how much we're gonna get. Maybe this whole bull market only $250 million comes in. And then this is what the math looks like. And we're going for a 40x. But then the buy and burn's working too. So I mean, it's dropping a lot a day minimum. Like 30K, I think minimum. So 30K times, just do equal 30 times 365, and we will add K to this. Okay, 10,000K. In other words, 10 million. Another 10 million of buy pressure minimum, kind of like flogging along for the next 12 months. Wow. That's one heck of a whale, just winging what it could do off the top of my head. Yeah. So market, what's the market going to do? How much is going to sell? How much is going to buy? Buy and burn's working, and it's hard to track. And I'll show you guys exactly why it's so hard to do my math, because when doing my buy and burn, okay, I'm looking at the volume, and I know my head's blocking out the beginning of this, but you can see that the volume looks like somebody having a heart attack. Now, in my math, to basically do it, I was like, okay, let's just average what I think it could do for a year, and then apply it to each day systematically, and then gradually up the price, where the market's selling huge dips and there's high volumes, so all of a sudden the buy and burn's more effective. Like, I could never track it fully. That was always just a toy to loosely show you what it was capable of. I mean, yeah, I can keep adding variables, but I can never really predict the future. I can just show roughly, here's some ranges in the possible future with that thing. It was always a toy and emulator. This site is showing me exactly what's going on in real time, and I get to actually learn how the beast is functioning. But 42 million volume is actually a low now for the last couple of months. Wow. And it's probably an average of 65K. Like, it's between 30 to over 100K. That is daily buy pressure. So I mean, if we go the bullish version and say 100K, well, times 365, well, that's 36 million, 36.5 million for the year that our Drunken Michael Sailor bot is gonna dump into this. Now, yeah, it's got a huge $1 billion market cap, so that's still slow pegging away in essence, but we look at that percentage, that's always what I kind of said with that buy and burn, why I looked into 10, 15, and 20 years. This DEX isn't going to stop running. This chain isn't going to stop running. And I really can't wait to see what it looks like in 5 years worth of the buy and burn. It should have destroyed between 10 to 15% of the supply. This is going to be enough of a market shock on its own. PulseX faults from Earn and Power City. You guys are awesome. That's locking up almost more than the buy and burn right now. They cracked over 800 million locked up, while the buy and burn only hasn't even crossed the 800 billion mark yet. But between them, they have over 1.6 trillion tokens locked off the market. Some burnt and destroyed, some locked in vaults. So yeah, volume is very, very spastic. But on those high volume days, wow, sometimes during price dips, and a lot gets eaten up. So that bot doesn't care. We have a guaranteed buyer in the system, regardless of whether we see 20 million more come from the market and the buy and burn is there, it outdoes the market, or whether we see 250 million from the market or half a billion or a full billion from the market in interest over this product. Who knows? I don't know what the market's going to do or going to decide, but I know I'm happy with the guaranteed automatic buyer in the system. That'll never sell. It's a really awesome feature that I will never stop loving. So, anyways, you guys can go ahead and speculate what you think the market will do, or even track what the market is doing for spending. And you can do all that math this simple right here on Google Sheets. Okay? 2 formulas. One for the price, or one for the LP and one for the price. And ta-da! Okay. So, yeah, that's it for the video. Yeah, sell a little harder, okay, guys? I have a lot of dry powder saved for a dip like this. Stay chilly. I'll talk to you later. Bye.